guys, welcome back to part B of our discussion. Where are our youth?
Let me bring an analogy here.
Yes.
I have church wine in my house, and some clergy keep church wine in their house, depending on circumstances.
Yeah.
I'm a minister in the school, so when I have to give Holy Communion, I keep that church wine in my house.
Okay.
Some of it, the bottle is not opened, others it is half full. But I can tell you, my kids will never drink that alcohol, church wine. They will not even touch it. They know hii ni wine ya kanisa. You get that?
Yeah.
Now, there are places you can't take that, even in houses of clergy. Huwezi peleka, itachangamkiwa mbio.
Iongezwe maji.
Na iongezwe maji. What am I talking about? The same thing we kept on talking about, value system.
Yes.
Value system. And I think in bringing up children, you have to teach them, you have to grow with them. And one thing I keep on telling parents, when your children are very small, you become like them. When they go to the puberty, you become like someone in puberty.
Yes.
When they are teenage, you become like someone in teenage. When they are, and you keep on growing. So where lazima ukubali kukua mtoto. And as they grow, you grow with
Them.
so that value is seriously installed in them. We say in Proverbs 6:22, train up a child. Is it 6:22?
22,
Yes,
Proverbs
Proverbs.
22.
22, verse 6, yes.
6:22.
Yeah. That train up a child the way they are supposed to grow, and they will never live that way. That is where all of us, church, school, and home, we are failing.
Okay.
I think I would also want to contribute a bit on that.
Yeah.
There is also the aspect of communal accountability, whereby we have missed it. I want to bring up my children the way I want. But those days when they were growing up, we are younger. When they were growing up, a child belonged to the community. And so we are living at a time whereby we are not able to come together and agree this is the way to go.
Okay.
And when we talk now about the social media and all those softwares and what we are mentioning, I think it is time also to focus on where you began. There is no way or a parent, if my child found me doing some things on my phone, I will be able to tell them, don't do this. It is two-way. As a child, I can choose, okay, what I've seen happening is not right. As a parent, I should know that I'm supposed to be a role model. And also that aspect of controlling is very key. But we need to come together and reason together.
Okay.
I think she's mentioned what I wanted to say. That aspect of the parent, what kind of example are you setting? That's where I was coming in. That sometimes even as a parent, you may be in the house, you're telling them not to use these gadgets, but you're always there, chatting, and when they challenge you, Abia, in job, you expect yes, wajua lazima nikulipia fees. So you find them that kind of hypocrisy is what needs to get out, and parents to really set the example, because children will learn more from what they see than from what we tell them.
Okay.
What we are saying, Waho, there's something we okay, for those who do parenting classes, values are caught, they are not taught. You will teach mathematics in a class, but you don't have to practice it anywhere. Sawa sawa. You all learned biology in school. Unless you are a doctor, you don't have to use it anywhere. Values are caught, they are not taught. If your children see you praying, they will develop the language of prayer. If they see you reading your Bible, ile mami anafanya sana inakaa iko na maana sana. Hata mimi nataka kujua anafanya nini. You get? If we are talking about don't overstay on gadgets, it's not just for them. I mean, if it's wrong for them, it's also wrong for you. Don't also overstay in kwa gadgets.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's this complaint imekuwa na wazazi wengi. You talked of raise the child in the ways of the Lord, and when they grow up will not depart. Kuna mzazi amekuwa hapo akiraise mtoto in the ways of the Lord. mpaka amefika mahali anauliza sasa huyu yule, speaking huyu tutamfanya nini? I have prayed for her, I've called counselors na bado habadiliki, amekuwa akikunywa pombe and drugs. Sasa mzazi kama huyo atafanya nini? Or how is a parent supposed to guard their children?
Maybe you have to look at the root cause of all that. That rebellion, that mischief is a symptom of a disease. So you have to dig deep and find what is the disease.
Okay.
Part of it could be from rejection. Children who go through rejection. And they bring out traits of violence, of abusing others, all those kind of issues. Because the issue here is rejection. Others are dealing with low self-esteem. And that low self-esteem makes him to want to catch everybody's attention by doing all manner of things. You see, the issue is not drunkenness. The issue is not sexual immorality. It's low self-esteem. Who can accept me? Who can approve of what I'm doing? Who can notice me? And they are ready to go out with anybody who can notice them, so that they can deal with the issue of self-esteem. So you must be able, as a parent, to ask yourself, what is the root cause of this?
Okay.
You cannot just deal with the symptoms, because you deal with sexual immorality, they go to drugs. You deal with drugs, they go to violence. You finish that, they go to pornography and all those things. These are just symptoms. What is the disease?
Okay.
That's what you have to ask yourself.
The root cause. Okay. Reverend, to ask you, okay, being a minister, what are you doing, and all the other pastors and reverend, what is the church doing, at least to keep the children busy, ama to mentor these children while they are still at home?
Okay, we have tried quite a lot, and it is good to mention that when, for example, talking about the current circumstances, the church has invested a lot on things like Zoom. We are trying our best to ensure that we are reaching out to our children through social media.
Okay.
At the same time, you realize that I'm glad we have a person like Reverend Nene, who is a youth minister. You realize that the church has also tried to ensure that all areas are covered. Here, where I serve, we don't have an ordained one, but there is a youth coordinator who ensures that there are activities to keep them busy. And in all this, we are also trusting God that He'll help us be able to shepherd them. Because again, you think that you are zooming for a fellowship, you find those young people not so much interested into joining or coming along with you. And so it is something that also calls for us as ministers to pray that our youths will be able to prioritize things. You'll find them so busy on other areas, like those ones you're calling them filters. You'll find them filtering themselves. But when you invite them for a gathering through Zoom to come and reason together on the book of James, they'll say, okay, hiyo nishajisomea. It's tough anyway, but we are doing our best.
Okay.
Yes.
And do you think, Pastor Reverend here, you've done enough, the church has done enough, ama you still feel there's something else that should be done?
It's a good. There's a statement that Sam mentioned here. The world is moving too fast, and not just the parents, even the church has to a large extent been left behind by this world that is moving fast. Actually, during this COVID-19, I think our eyes have been opened. But as much as we may not say 100%, one thing that comes to light and which should not be lost is that the church is essential. Because these young people right now, during holidays, could have been engaged in many, many things. Budgets to support that, trips, and games, sporting activities, and VBS and all that. That means that is something that the church does, which is hidden right now in the background. People may not talk about it. They will highlight the issue of offering and tithes, but they forget that They are people who are being served by the church. And now it's becoming evident. These young people with a lot of energies, those energies need to be directed somewhere.
Okay.
The government may have a lot of plans on youth in technical colleges and all that, but do they really look at the software of the youth?
Wow.
And the church comes in there. So, first of all, the church is an essential service. We have done the much we can as a
Okay.
church. That's what I can say.
That is church.
Yes, we have done the much that we can, but there's still room for improvement.
Okay.
Yes.
That is church. Reverend Nene, what about the government? You said
Bef-
earlier. Okay.
Before I get to the government, I just want to add voice to what Reverend Wongot and Reverend Josephine mentioned about what the churches are doing. There is also another initiative that I've personally been part of to empower parents, because I belong to the leadership team of ChildNet to Amke. And it brings together children ministry workers from across churches in the city and those who have branches and assemblies outside Nairobi. So when COVID happened and everything came to a standstill, we got together in a Zoom call one day and we were asking ourselves, by the way, wewe kanisani kwenu mnafanya nini? How are you transmitting material? Then somebody asked a very pertinent question. It is one thing to transmit material, but it is another thing for the parents to know how to use it. Don't forget, these are the same parents who are saying teaching biology to my teenagers is difficult.
Yeah.
Mimi hesabu tulimalizana nayo shule.
Yeah.
I have a child in class 5. Hii algebra kuna vile hatuingiliani pamoja, you get. So it's the same struggle. And so we began doing workshops for parents. And we have this happening online. And when we have one, we invite parents to come on board. And the first lesson we did for them was how to teach a Bible lesson. Because you have your children in the house. Hakuna mwalimu wa Sunday school atakuja kwako kufundisha, hata anafundisha kwake. So that is also help or assistance which is coming from the church to parents across board. It's a public forum. Any parent can come in to be able to be empowered to minister and disciple their own children.
Okay.
Is government doing enough? I really wouldn't say government is okay. For me, I wouldn't say government is doing enough, because you see, gava wako huko juu. Wao tu huwa wanasema this is what is happening, and then the rest of us are left to figure it out. If this is what is happening, then what is likely to happen out of this? For instance, every day we receive numbers of COVID cases.
Yeah. Daily briefing.
Alafu? No, I'm not saying it's wrong, because it also helps us to visualize a few more things. But in the space of the young people, hata some pengine anafaa tuambie kama daily briefing ina alisikiza ya mwisho ni lini.
Yeah.
Because when you say out of the 800 we have tested, 600 are from Nairobi. It is a good thing, because then it helps us to understand hiki tunazunguka mahali fulani sana, we need to be more careful. But then when we say that, what are the young people here? And you see young people are more dynamic kuliko Toyota. Toyota inakujanga, Toyota make hii, Toyota make ile, ama Samsung Note hii. So for them, their world is moving very, very fast. When we keep on giving them the same information in the same way, we are not telling them what to do extra. For example, along the Eastern Bypass hapa, one of the things which have been noticed, apart from the people who are dynamic enough to sell vegetables and fruits from the boots of their cars, we also have young people who, within the safety of masaa ya curfew, tunaenda mahali tunanunua pombe, tuko watu watatu ama wane tunaketi kwa gari mahali, hatusumbuani na mtu. We are not law breakers, my friends. Sisi tuko sawa, but we are drinking. Why? Because this was a lifestyle probably we were used to. So I think the government needs to do more civic education on exactly what this is, because Wakenya wale wengi saa hii tuachana na vijana, wao tunasema umesikia mtu ambaye amekufa na corona? Hakuna, sijasikia. Hii ni wako ya serikali tu. So hakuna. So government needs to do more.
Yeah. Okay, Sam.
Yes.
Do you think what do you think gava inaweza fanya to introduce my youth and to keep them engaged in this period of corona?
Okay. First of all, before we get to the government, we need to understand the main powerhouse of a nation, and it is for us to understand that the main powers of a nation, it is not the government really, but it's all about psychology. the church is the mother of psychology in the African setting. Now, what the government could do to help the youth is launching maybe forums that would also be able to empower youth. But this is the but. The government is willing to invest in the youth with forums, but I am not seeing a scope of where the government is willing to invest in the structures that empower the youth.
Yeah.
A good example, uh, software is running the whole world. Everyone here is in a social media platform. Now, I heard the government wants to regulate these things. How do you regulate things that you don't have power on? How will you regulate Google, an American company? You see, how will you do that? How would you do? In fact, everything that they are doing is done in America. So, what the government would do is one, empower the youth by looking at their vision, not what they think that the vision ya youth ni gani. Kuja kwa youth uulize youth, wewe vision yako ni gani? Vision yako ni gani? Vision yako ni gani? Empower that vision.
Okay.
Yeah. After you've empowered that vision, it will be able for you now to fuel the goodness of a community, but not based on what you think. It's based on kenye wao wanataka.
Yeah.
Invest in that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Na tukimalizia, Reverend Wangata, maybe you can say your last word to the youth and maybe to the parents. Yeah.
The future of any generation is in the young people.
Yeah.
And among the Kikuyus, we say, Ruri, Utarigashawa. I mean, a flock that has no calves would one day get finished because the tomorrow of that flock is in the calves or the young ones. And therefore, all of us have to do deliberate efforts to make sure that we are investing our energies and our resources and our time in our youth and being able to tap the energies that they have. I usually say that young people are the agents of change. When social media came, it is not the gukas and the shows that embraced the social media. It is the young people.
Yeah.
And actually, the shows and the gukas were like, "What is this you're talking about? Facebook, Twitter, and all those things." Now it is the time they're starting to see the use of the social media. Now you see shows and gukas joining. I have my father in Facebook, and when I post my status on WhatsApp, among the people I see, I feel my father and among other elderly people. Now they're starting to get into social media. But who accepted the social media in the first place? It was the youth.
Yeah.
So the youth are the agents of change. And if our society has to grow, it will be it will grow on the strength of the youth.
Wow.
But remember that change can be negative and can also be positive. So when you look at the negative change, violence, immorality, today we are talking about the debate of LGBT. Who are in those LGBT stories? It is the young people. So how can we help them to have the right attitude towards their sexuality and all that? So if our society will change, either negatively or positively, it will be on the strength of our young people. So we have to invest in them, time, resources, and energies so that we tap their talents and help them to foster positive change in our society.
Thank you so much. Reverend Josephine,
Yes.
your message to the young people.
Our young people, we want to encourage them that it is well and it is possible to live a positive life. And the bottom line is the kind of choices you make. Make the right choices, hook up with the right people, and know what you want in life. If you don't know, any wind that blows, you are good to go. But when you make the right choices, you'll be able to stand. Again, number two, take advantage of any kind of a season. A season like this may look so negative and people may have lost hope. But as a young person, you can say, out of this COVID period, I will positively pick on something that will build my life. But when you invest your time in negative things, you'll find that, oh, you missed an opportunity.
Yes.
And finally, to the parents, all is not gone. We are here. We will pray for you. We will walk with you. But just be ready to open up. Some parents have decided to keep things to themselves. You know, your son is this, your daughter is the other, and you decide, okay, sitasema wasianze kudisengenya. Come, let's talk. Let's address matters, and we walk together.
Wow.
God bless you.
Thank you so much.
Thank
Baba
you.
Enjoy here.
Thank you, Wahu. I want to say to the young people, social media is not bad. It's here with us. It's a platform that can take you very, very far. Through social media, you've been opened out to the whole world. In it, you have a global platform where you can learn. If it's in business, you have a global platform for doing business. We have access to places and areas and people we would never have had access to. Let us start thinking positively through this platform. How can I become the best that I ought to be? How can I reach a place I never thought I would reach with my idea, with my concepts? Because young people have great ideas. How can my idea be received around the world? That is very, very important. Let them make use of social media positively, and they'll get far. And to the parents, when COVID came, government told people stay home,
At home.
kaeni nyumbani. It's important for parents to provide a conducive environment to stay home. Where are they staying? And that is a strong message to all of us as parents,
Okay.
that home should be nurtured well, should be kept well, should have the right environment. At the end of it all, our families, our children will not be taken elsewhere. They'll come home. Stay home. Let us provide the right environment to our young people. God bless you.
Assignment hapo. Haya. Tunaendelea.
Wow. A more universal message to both parents and young people in society from me would be the more things change, the more they remain the same. We might think that, dunia imebadilika sana, but when you look at, like he was talking about the root, the more things change, the more they remain the same. Very first, I'll give an example I love using. Nappy rash. Unajua nikisema nappy rash, wamama wa siku hizo wanaweza kosa kuelewa nappy rash ni nini because wamezoea diaper. I don't know my grandmother alifungwa na nini. And I also don't know my mother alifungwa na nini. But my generation sisi tulifungwa napi bila nini laina. Wale walifuata after that wakafunga wao na napi na laina. Wale walifuata baada hapo wakafunga nini diaper. What is the general thing in all of that? The baby's bottom has to remain dry.
Okay.
Sawa sawa?
Yeah.
So the more things change, the more they remain the
same.
same. What software are we putting in our young people that will cause them to run the race of time? There are things which are very universal and they need to remain the same. So all is not lost. I advise now very specifically to the younger generation, get mentors who are going to walk with you, positive mentors to help you to grow. Hiyo ndio ita maintain hiyo software iko ndani.
Okay.
Otherwise kama una hang out tu na watu rika yako kila wakati, tusidanganyane kwa hii maisha.
Thank you so much. Sam, your final message to the youth.
My final message for my youth is that our parents have a notion of how life is supposed to be, but they no. They are not
Which is true.
Yeah. Our parents should stop making the world look like they know it all, and they should focus on building on what that specific child is aiming at. You understand me? And another thing to the youth, take this opportunity, pero akikupatia, invest in yourself properly. To the parents, maybe I'd say, don't whine a lot. Usipige kelele ati what will I do, what. You need to understand that you are the Mr. Green or Mr. Brown, as in you are the financial, you are the muscle man. So whether ukiona kitu haiendi poa, unafaa kujua kama uta muscle in ama muscle out. Juzi vitu zote ni pesa. And you create structures, create create your own structure of how you would run your things, Nona, because you're the ones with the power. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Na tumeshukuru sana for having you on board, and may God bless all of you.
Thank
Thanks a lot, guys, for watching. My name is Wahu Wakareivi. So you can comment down below and tell us what do you think my youth wanafaa kuwa wanafanya right now. God bless you, and kindly don't forget to watch, share, and subscribe, and share to your friends. God bless you.
Asante sana.
Asante sana.